When you think of bravery, maybe you think of Mel Gibson in Braveheart on the front battle lines, or somebody running into a burning building to save somebody else's life, and that is huge bravery. And that same feeling they have is the same feeling that you and I share when we get stage fright, or where the music turns on and it's like, do I want to go out on the dance floor? Or we see a pretty girl across the room and it's, should I go talk to her? Should I not? That feeling of fright and scary, scary in our lives to do some of those things. Or like, should I leave the job to become an author? Should I put my words out there? It doesn't take huge moments of fear to feel that, because every moment of fear feels big and huge, doesn't it? And that's why the thinker Aristotle once said that bravery is the greatest human quality and the mother of all other virtues, because without bravery you can't practice the other virtues or perform them consistently. Like, if you want to love somebody, you gotta be vulnerable and love openly from the heart. If you want joy in the room and in your life, you gotta open the door and say, man, I'm bringing the joy. You gotta be vulnerable. You gotta show up in life and be brave to be able to do that. If you want the other virtues like peace, you gotta be brave to say, you know what, I'm laying down my weapons. That takes bravery. Or if you want goodness just to permeate through your life, you gotta be able to look at the bully square in the eyes and say, I'm turning the other cheek. It takes bravery to practice all those other virtues. And they went on to say that you'll never accomplish anything on this earth, in this world, without bravery. So we all have bravery. That's not the issue. The question is, on the spectrum of bravery, to what degree do we have bravery? And here's the fundamental key to that idea. Your future shrinks and grows in proportion to your courage, to your bravery. How good your life's going to be, the possibilities that exist, shrink and grow in proportion to your bravery. And so it's one thing to have moments of real bravery and to allow your life to improve incrementally. And it's quite another to become a brave person that attracts all these human qualities and abundance into your life. So the question is, how do you become brave? Well, let's start with the brain. First thing you do is lean into what's called the amygdala. Lean into the amygdala. Well, what am I talking about? Well, when most people are afraid of something, it's kind of like, they turn into a turtle where their head goes in the shell. It's like, tell me when the fear winds blow away, And I'm guilty of that too. We all get afraid, and we all want to hide in our shell. But if we're in the shell, we can't see and smell and feel and experience so much of life. And what happens with the amygdala, it's within the limbic system back here. And the limbic system and the amygdala is where all the incoming data comes to your brain. And immediately, in a reactionary way, it says, red light, green light. This is really bad information. This is really good information. This is scary. This is awesome. This is frightening. This is amazing. And you don't even think about it. You're not discriminatory towards that. Your limbic system just tells you that. Your amygdala just helps you process those emotions immediately. Now, here's the really excellent good news about this. Your amygdala doesn't think through the situation. It only tells you to be red light, green light based on your past experience, based on your comfort zone. So to walk across that room to that girl, talk to that pretty girl and ask her out, or that guy, it's like, okay, your amygdala is like, don't go, run away, only because of what's happened to you in the past or your comfort zone, because you've never done it and you've never stepped outside of your comfort zone in that way. And so one way to get around this, a life strategy that you can implement starting today, is every time fear comes into your life and you see red light, don't do it, just say, you know what? I'm going to lean into the red light. I'm going to lean into the amygdala. And if you do that, you'll be in a very small minority of people on this earth. And you'll be able to accomplish dreams like you've never been able to accomplish, because it's fears that usually, cage us, cage our minds and our hearts and our dreams, so that we never step outside of our comfort zone. And most people, what they do is they hear their amygdala and they, you've heard this before, fight, flight, or freeze. I'm gonna, put up my dukes, or I don't know what to do, or I'm gonna run away. And you don't have to do that. And possibilities expand, your future expands, in amazing ways when you lean into your amygdala and you say, but Aaron, I'm afraid. Look, I am too. I get afraid all the time. And it's not, bravery is not the absence of fear. You know that. Without fear, there's no such thing as bravery. It takes fear to have bravery in your life, to be a brave person. It takes, looking at the fear and saying, you know what? I don't need to be afraid of this. I'm not going to be eaten by a lion here, so I'm going to lean in to my amygdala, whatever the word is, amygdala, and lean into it and come out the other side as a stronger, wiser person. Here's the kicker. Your limbic system back here is the natural response to all incoming data. Things you're hearing me say right now. Your amygdala is processing that, like red light, green light, good, bad, whatever. That's going through your limbic system. But that's the natural thing. Your prefrontal cortex in your brain has discriminatory power. And instead of, saying fight, flight, or freeze, you can override that. You're going to override that with your prefrontal cortex that says, you know what? I have freedom here. I have faith here. I don't have to be fight, flight, or freeze. I can choose faith. I can say, you know what? I believe in myself. I have faith in myself to walk over to that girl. I have faith in myself to go out on the dance floor. I have faith in myself to write the book, publish it, and put it out there and be vulnerable with my life. I have faith and I have freedom. And when you do that, when you lean into your amygdala, a whole world of possibilities that you've never discovered will begin to open up for you. So that's the first one, is lean into your amygdala. The second one is lower an anchor. Lower an anchor. Now, what do I mean by that? Purposefully design things in your life that kind of scare you and lean into it and see what happens. And as a result of doing that scary thing, start small, do those things, you will accomplish those things. And then when it comes to something else, like a job interview or writing the book or dancing or whatever, you'll be able to look back and say, you know what? If I did that, I got the power to do this. I can surely do this. It creates an anchor in your life. And that's why Eleanor Roosevelt, once said, every day do something that just scares the living daylights out of you. That's why I jumped out of an airplane. I was like, I need an anchor in my life. I wanted to be a brave person. I wanted to figure this stuff out. And so I orchestrated people from around the world. We were going to go out to an airport and jump out of airplanes. So we have people from the Middle East, Asia, South America, North America, all sitting there ready to jump out of airplanes. And when it was my turn, we got in the airplane, and I noticed inside it had 3 out of order or broken, do not use, duct tape on the dashboard. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what have I done? But I'd seen other people jump, and I orchestrated it, so I was like, I can't get out. They said, you can tap your shoulder, and we'll let you out of this. But I couldn't do it. What, did I think I was a brave person? No! I was scared out of my mind. So we started the plane, but after 3 times, because it wouldn't even start, the door was broken. So, and I was right by the door, just a little Cessna. And you could see a crack right there. And like, oh my gosh. So we started the plane, we circle, we get all the way up in the air, and he says 2 minutes. And I'm thinking, what have I done? And I'm squashed here, and I was going to be the first one when that door opens up. And who in the right mind does this? And I start, like, tears start coming out of my eyes. I'm sorry. I was afraid. It was my natural limbic response, and I'm freaking out. But I'm not gonna tap out of this. So he's got a video camera. He says, turn around. We got a minute to jump, but I want to ask you a question. Why did you decide to jump out of an airplane? And I looked right at the camera and I said, because I want to become the kind of person that can. Because if I become the kind of person that can jump out of an airplane, that creates an anchor for me so that when I'm chasing my dreams and going after the next thing that I want to do with my life, I can look back and say, if I did that, I can do and go through all these different struggles, whatever they may be, to accomplish my dreams. That's the second one. It's to lower an anchor. Find an anchor in your life. The third one is, speaking of dreams, listen to your dreams. Listen, if you have a dream, if your dream is to go dance on the dance floor, then even if you think you're going to be humiliated, go dance on the dance floor. If your dream is to be a highly paid public speaker, go start speaking in different places. Get on stage. Even if you're, afraid to be humiliated that you're going to trip and fall, go trip and fall. At least you're in the game. If you have a dream to ask a girl out, go be brave and ask her out, or watch her fall in love with someone else. I mean, you get to decide whether your head's going to go in the shell or you're going to be brave and go out there. And so many people I've discovered are extremely afraid of what other people are going to think and how they're going to criticize them. And here's the strategy around that, because we all go through it, don't we? Is to reprioritize your dream, your path, over the criticisms and the worry about what other people are going to think. Because look, if you put yourself out there, if you go after a dream, these people will criticize you. There are a small number of people that will always criticize you and not support you or encourage you. Not that they don't like you, but it's their own insecurities or whatever it may be. And if you just say, you know what, I love them, I'm going to serve them, I'm also going to prioritize my dream, because they just don't understand my heart. They don't understand my passion. They don't understand my dream. They don't, people don't understand what you're trying to accomplish. So I will serve them to the best of my ability, but I'm always going to give priority to my dream here, because, they just don't understand. And here's the deal, like, your dreams happen at the intersection of vulnerability and your dreams. And that's where bravery comes into place. Now watch this. As soon as you identify something that you want, small or big dream, well, you got to go put yourself out there, don't you? The dance floor, the girl, the book, the leaving the job, whatever it is for you, your dream. You got to put yourself out there and make yourself vulnerable. As soon as you do that, bravery surfaces right in that moment. And the more brave you are, watch, the more your world opens up. But the less brave you are, the world, your world begins to shrink. So it's that intersection where all the magic happens, where you can be brave. It's why Ralph Otto, about 100 plus years ago, wrote something in a book called The Mysterium Tremendum. It's a Latin phrase that means there's these things in life that pull you in. Your dream, something that you want in your life that just pulls you in, it lures you and pushes you away all at the same time. It's like, when you go to the Grand Canyon, you stand on the precipice of the Grand Canyon, it's like, wow, you're pulled in, and it's like, oh, some wind, someone pushed me, you freak out, and you go back, and then you're pulled in again, and then you go back. You don't want to die, but you want to get as close as you can. It's why when I was going in the Rocky Mountains, the first time I ever went up there were some people in the back, and I was driving somebody else's truck, and we were going almost to the very top of the Rocky Mountains. And they didn't have guardrails, on the side of the road. I mean, who decided not to put guardrails at the top of the Rocky Mountains? And we're driving, and I'm trying to be as cautious as possible, because I don't want to go over the cliff or the mountain. And all of a sudden behind me, someone's shaking my shoulders. There, stop. I'm like, I can't stop. We're almost at the top of the mountain. There's no guardrails. There's nowhere to stop. Aaron, you gotta stop. I'm like, why? You just gotta stop. You gotta stop. I didn't know if someone was gonna come around the corner, but I stopped. Don't stop at the top of the Rocky Mountains, right? We stopped. They said, we gotta get out. But first you gotta back up. Well, I can't back up. I'm on a mountain. So I back up and we get out. You're not supposed to do any of that. I get it. We walk across the road, and they show me. We look down at the top of a rainbow. Holy cow! I never thought I'd be standing on the top of a rainbow. You could stick your foot out there and almost literally touch this thing. It was so mesmerizing that I thought, maybe I'm just going to get on this thing and slide down and see if there's like a leprechaun and some gold down there. was unbelievable. I was so lured and pulled in, but the closer I got, the more braveness, the opportunity, or stupidity, there's a fine line there. I was pushed away at the same time. I'm like, I don't want to die, but I wanted to go see it again. I wanted to get as close as I could. It's like the girl, you walk across the room, or the guy, you walk across the room, you're like, I want to talk to them. I want to get their number, but you're pushed away at the same time. I was like, I don't want to do it. There's that tension. And so you want to put your words out there in a book, but you're afraid what people may say. And when you reprioritize your dream, and listen to your dream every single day. It's like walking into your house at night when the lights are all off, and you flip on the light switch. In that moment, all the dark shadows fly away, and you always have clarity about what to do next. So lean into the amygdala, lower and anchor, listen to your dream, and the last one is look at the positive possibilities. Now, why do we say that? Because so many of us get into something called catastrophizing. You know what catastrophizing is probably. It's where your boss is walking down, and you see your boss, and you say hi to her, and she doesn't say anything to you, and you're like, oh my gosh, my boss didn't say anything to me. I wonder if I'm in trouble. In 2 days, she's going to call me into the office, and I'm going to get fired. They're going to let me go. And I'm going to have to go home, and I'm going to tell my wife, and honey, I got fired, I got laid off, and everything's going to go, to hell in a handbasket. I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. My kids are going to think I'm a loser. We're going to have to sell everything, and we're not going to make any money. I'm going to have to live on the street. And my life's I'm just we freak out, and we think about the worst case scenarios, don't we? I mean, I'm guilty of that. And we begin to ask this, question. It's like a game. What if I get let go? What if I walk over to that girl and she laughs in my face? What if I write that book and it doesn't go anywhere? And we attach our what if game to all the negative possibilities. But what if you attached the what ifs to positive possibilities? What if I walked over to that girl and she said yes? What if I worked so hard on this book that I publish it and people buy it and pay me, and now I leave my job, and if you don't like your job, and all of a sudden I'm a published author and I keep writing book after book and going speaking tours? What if I get on the dance floor and I have the time of my life? What if we attach things to more positive outcomes? Well, it will be in those moments for you where you will experience all the awesome sauce, all the magic that happens in life. Because look, if you get enough time and enough bravery in your life, anything is possible for your life, and your future will be so bright that your hair's going to catch on fire, and you're like, I love life. You will begin to engage the world in a brand new way. You will begin to live more passionately. You will love more openly. You will care more empathetically. You will you go buy flowers and hand them out to strangers on the streets. Like, hey, who are you? I don't know. What's your name? I don't know. But here's a flower. Just because we're humans and we're on the same planet. You hand out flowers after this person and that person, and you begin to realize that when life hands you uncertainties, when life hands you something that's scary, it's really saying, hey, look, bud, hey, look, woman, hey, look, lady, hey, look, guy, hey, look, dude, here's an opportunity to expand the possibilities of your life. Here's an opportunity to unlock the doors and the treasure chest of abundance, because your life will begin to grow. So today you have the opportunity to stay or stay. To stay where you're at, to always stay where you're at, day after day after day, or to take another step towards that which matters most for you. To take another step, and another step, and another step, and another brave step, and another brave step. And then once you take enough steps, before you know it, you'll look into the mirror and you'll realize you just became